hiding. I'm sure I saw a wiggly worm around here somewhere. I'm going to let you into a secret. I'm actually a little bit scared of worms, but don't tell anybody. Martyn Harvey one day was sat in his garden when it was a little bit cooler than a normal day, and he sat there, and he was quite fortunate because he, at the corner of his eye, spotted a wiggly worm. Now they don't normally come out in the daytime, so he was quite fortunate to see one. You might want to go on a hunt for one, in which case you've got to look in those dark places where they're hiding away, which is good for me because I don't like seeing them. But Martyn Harvey sat in his garden and he saw a wiggly worm going through the undergrowth and the organic matter around it, and he was inspired to write a poem about a worm, and this is what Martyn Harvey wrote. It's called The Wurm. I cannot write about the worm without the need to shudder, for this slim fellow, smooth and blind, is like no beastie other. I know I've said the millipede is somewhat like the worm, but for some reason, I don't know, he doesn't make me squirm. And whether it's 1,000 feet or just 101, the millibeast and centipede are sometimes in the sun. Not so our wiggly friend, who digs for all he's worth, preferring dark decaying stuff, what soaks into the earth. And yet, for all his loathsome traits, the wriggles without end, it seems his work improves the soil, so he's the gardener's friend. Oh worm, I read you wrong. Forgive my nervous blood. I just feel slightly squeamish as you wriggle in the mud. Oh worm, the time has come to finish off my tea, and so I sit and ponder, who is blinder, you or me? A lovely poem from Martyn Harvey about a subject I'm still a bit terrified of. We might, as you started seeing in these videos, that we might want to illustrate our poem, and Martyn Harvey might want to illustrate his poem about a worm. I'm going to show you now, hopefully, how to draw a worm. So if I get my pad and want to start off, I might want to start. I like to start with a defining feature. Problem with a worm, there aren't that many defining features. As Martyn said in his poem, worms are actually blind. But when we're making a caricature for a comic or for a poem, we might want to give that animal or insect more human-like qualities. So I'm actually going to give my worm some eyes. I'm going to try at least anyway. So I'm going to draw mine. Now, I'm kind of going to draw them a little bit off centre like this. And I'm going to get his head to come around. I'm going to draw like a C shape with a little smile on his head like this. You'll see that. And then I'm going to take it round. And I'm going to turn him into a bit of like, I need to show that he is wiggling. So I'm going to draw a W for wiggle, because he's wiggling. So if I draw almost like a bubble writing W, and take that round. I'm sorry you can't see this very well. It's my plant that I'm hiding behind. But I've drawn a wiggly worm. It looks very two-dimensional at the moment. It's like a 2D shape. I want to make it look more 3D, more three-dimensional. So I'm going to try and make it look like it's coming out of that page. And to do that, I might want to make that look, the surface of my worm look more curved, give it some curvature. So I'm going to do that by not drawing straight lines on him, draw these curved lines like that. And that makes him look a little bit more curved. Okay, and I can do that a little bit more on my worm, and on the high bits where his skin might be stretching a little bit, do it slightly the other way. But I'm hoping that that makes my worm just look, a little bit more three-dimensional, a little bit cheeky maybe, and actually it looks a little bit tasty. I might find one of these worms for myself. Here's one. And I've enjoyed today's poem. Enjoy tomorrow's. I'm going to eat my worm.
Oh, thank you, Mr. McAuley. That was a wonderful video. It was so funny, and I love those jelly worms. They were cool. The only thing is, didn't we say we wanted a live worm? You know, like a real one in the film? That's okay. I'll see if I can find one here. I'll have a dig around in the garden, see if I can find something. Have a look. Aha! Some old garden rubbish. Let's see if there's anything under here. Sometimes there's worms under here. Should we have a look? Nothing. Oh, right under this one. No. I bet there's some under here. No. Nothing at all. Ah, what about under this big plant pot? I bet if we lift this up, there's some worms under there. Let's have a look. Nothing. Oh dear. Oh well, there's nothing for it. We'll have to go back to the woods and have another look for worms, I think. Come on. Well, it really is beautiful out here in the woods. Taking my little bit of 1 hour exercise today. I wonder if I can find any worms out here. Someone said there was a legendary, huge worm colony somewhere here by an old pond, apparently. I wonder if I can find it. They say it's in these woods somewhere, but I don't know where that could be. Well, I think I might be lost in the woods. Can't work out how I got here, which way in I came from. Oh dear. Well, I think I just have to carry on. Hope we find these giant worms Mr. McAuley was telling me about. Shh! I think I found a spot. There used to be an old pond here with frogs and reeds and water. I think it's all filled in now, but it's a very muddy place, just the sort of place we might find worms. Come on, I'll show you. Aha! At last! I think we found the place where these big worms are supposed to be. Should we go and have a closer look? Right, this looks like a promising spot. Let's just zoom in and I'll have a dig. See if we can see any worms hiding in there. Lovely gloopy mud, sort of place worms love to hang out. So far, nothing. It's unusual. Normally, you don't have to dig far to find a worm in this sort of mud. Oh. What's that noise? Oh no. What's that? There's something coming. It's a huge... Oh no! Hey! Hey! It's a giant worm! It's a giant worm! Mr. McAuley was right. We don't need a live worm after all, especially a giant one.